It's amazing.
Let's do this, y'all.
The Athena Project presents Homeless Network News Live, starring Caroline Manheimer, Corey Walton, Greg Tomzarek, Marvin Howard, Wanda Poston, Annette Bryant, Robert Blood, Sol Sepulveda, Tahiti Robinson, and Lurch.
Yay!
Hey!
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our first live stream. We are Zamia. We are here to present Homeless News Network. Like I said, we are Zamia Theater. We build connections between people that have experienced homelessness or are experienced or have. We're going to do some things for you today, show you a few little recordings we made and some skits, and we're going to love you to comment us, like us, love us, do whatever you can. And with no further ado, here is Live News, Homeless News Network, Episode 3.
Hi, I'm Tahiti Robinson, and I'm a core member of Zambia. And today I'll be giving you one of our 7 zombie agreements. Notice our impact on ourselves, on each other, and our community. In other words, we want to be aware that of your own impressions of yourself as well as others and your community. As far as the community is concerned, your community is wherever a group of people are, like your business, or okay, either your home or your job or a club, church, anywhere where you know people, where you around people. That's community. So what we want to do, we want to be aware. Let our impact be one of activity and a good report.
Notice our impact on ourselves, each other, and our community.
My impact, sometimes I snap.
Sometimes I show empathy.
Sometimes I joke around.
Sometimes I'm very giving.
Sometimes I unintentionally hurt.
Sometimes I'm just present.
Sometimes I get frustrated.
Sometimes I startle.
Sometimes I show compassion.
Sometimes I'm forgiving.
Sometimes I just dance.
Notice our impact on ourselves, each other, and our community.
And now, for today's old news. Not new news, but old news. The Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board is taking up the topics of homeless encampments and its nudity ordinance during its meeting Wednesday.
We can do it humanely.
Wait. The nudity ordinance?
No.
Oh, you mean the homeless stuff?
Yeah, we can do it humanely. Minneapolis Park Board prepares to remove homeless Minnesotans from city parks.
Minneapolis Park Board clears one of the Powderhorn encampments.
Evict homeless from Powderhorn Park?
That stops here,
says one community volunteer.
Powderhorn East Camp demolished.
24 arrests.
Drop the charges, stop evictions, and provide housing. 24 arrests.
And that's it for today's headlines.
Hi, and welcome. My name's Robert, and here's my rant for the day. This guy in the White House, he wants to stop the election. What the heck? He has no power to do this. This guy is insane. He's narcissistic. He's a racist. He's the worst person I have ever seen in the White House in my life. Let's get this guy out of here. Let's vote him out. Hit the polls November 3rd. Let's get this guy out of there. Thank you. This has been Robert's Rant.
Another sun sets and more lives have been lost. This thing called COVID-19 has come at great cost. It's taking the lives of the young and the old. There are now more people living out in the cold. Some of us don't know what is normal anymore. Some of us don't feel safe even walking to the store. We all miss our families. We all miss our friends. And we can't wait for this COVID shit to end. So now as we lay down, safe and warm in our beds, hoping all the bad thoughts are now cleared from our heads. So don't look behind you to see where you've been. Just look to the east, the sun shall rise again.
Wish it was easy every day. I'd like that better. Wish you'd forgotten what to say. That's not your kind. So I pick apart my time, never asking why. I'm always in so many pieces, and it's my fault.
Minneapolis Park and Rec Board staff and contractors spent Monday dismantling tents, clearing out supply.
Does something get you about like just that first image?
It's like, this is how we compare our homeless. You know, here's trash, here's our homeless. We bundle them in the same thing and say, let's just throw them away.
Trashing items left behind on the east side of Powderhorn Park. Do you have your own tent?
Well, I did, but they just destroyed it, so hopefully they'll give me another one.
38-year-old
They destroy. I mean, it's like that's not.
Struggles with homelessness.
If that's your only house and you have a tent and like they're just throwing it away.
Hard. I ain't really got like support, really. You know.
And like I said, this is the only guy that they'd even interviewed for this whole piece, besides one of the neighbors.
I know.
People's lives, you know, the humanity of all of this. It's like, how did it come to this?
Some of the park neighbors looked on with mixed emotions. The encampment had exploded in size in recent weeks.
It's like so unfair to be like the encampment exploded. It's like people were asked who were like, they were allowed to live in the park, you know? And it just shows you how many people need housing.
Tents
well, that part comes later.
Stoops, bringing with it human suffering given a lack of affordable housing, as well as crime, drugs, piles of garbage, and noise complaint.
And as if the encampments brought the suffering.
You got 350 people living in a small area, you're gonna have noise. Come on now.
Where are they going to go? And yet I'm happy to have peace again.
The Park and Rec Board ordered the dismantling of the Powderhorn East encampment because it was deemed dangerous, with at least 7 violent crimes documented here, including shootings, rapes, and assaults. We're told most everyone staying here complied with orders to leave by the afternoon, with transportation and shelter provided to those who wanted it.
This is going to take time. You know, everybody who wants it to happen overnight, that's really not an option. We are going to continue to do this in a respect.
She's about to say we're continuing to do this in a respectful way. While this, like, can you imagine someone doing that to your stuff?
And what about if these people came back and wondered what happened to their stuff? What if they weren't there when they were closing up? Now all their stuff's gone.
Yeah, and like it's like that is not respectful. Like if you had to clear my stuff away, I would think that you would like put it in a neat pile and be like, Rebecca, this is your stuff.
Yeah, leave it there for a minute.
Yeah. If it was like you bulldozed my stuff.
Respectable, humane manner.
And back out here live, you're obviously taking a look at the square remains of what had been tents at its largest. I mentioned 300 plus tents on this east side of Powderhorn Park. The park now empty on this side. Again, the west side will be allowed to stay intact for now, and we will continue to monitor the situation just down the block here as there is some kind of standoff that has developed between some demonstrators still on the scene here and then the park police. But for now, Randy, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
This tent mark they show, that's just telling me, hey, look, we just destroyed another life. We just put somebody else in a position where they have to find someplace else to live. Put them someplace. It's not that hard.
Seeing the sorrow on so many faces, seeing people sleeping in dangerous places, seeing people's lives being sucked from their soul. Housing our homeless should be our one goal. There are so many people with no home to go to. It happened to me, it could happen to you. And what about the children living on the street? No friends to play with, they have nothing to eat. So from Minneapolis to Dallas, from Tampa to Nome, we can't stop fighting while the homeless have homes.
Get along, little doggy, get along with me. Ooh, it's time you face the fact that you can't remember the in-between. So a bigger part of my time, never asking why. I'm always in a million pieces, and I don't want to admit it's always what I get, and I don't wanna take the blame, but it's my fault.
I have a place to live.
I need compassion.
I need clarity.
I need to get rid of them.
I need peace.
I need a reservoir of patience.
I need to show my strengths.
I need
more sleep.
I need my friends.
I have a savings account.
I have a great support system.
I have a good life.
I have way too many clothes.
I have resolve.
I have an open heart.
I have confidence.
I have a beautiful family.
I have subtle fears. We're going to share with you a scene from our downtown show, which we did back in 2016, 15/16. I believe I got those dates, those years right. In this scene, my character is a security guard in a crowded area in the mall area who used to be homeless. So in this scene, he just kicked out or moved out some homeless people from in the area of the mall, and he's feeling good about himself. And I'll tell you why he's feeling good about himself after we look at the scene.
No, but I gotta get flying. I'll catch you later, Albatross.
I thought we were singing. Hey, Dennis! This guy, wait a minute. Put up your dukes.
Do I know you?
It's Albatross. What?
I don't know what you're talking
Come on,
about.
man, I need a script. I got $20 somewhere.
I don't know about that $20, but I know you better give me 20 feet from this entrance.
20 feet?
You know the drill. Right.
Yeah, yesterday was 25, tomorrow it'll be 50.
Hey, I'm just doing my job, okay?
Oh yeah, how's that working out there for you, Captain Dan?
Look, I'm warning you and your little friend that's off there. There she goes.
Hey,
You and your
come
friend.
on, let's get... Oh, Jules, come. I need a drink. Oh, you know I don't drink, girl. Not that kind of drink. I'm thirsty. Of course, there's no water fountains in the sky.
Yeah, that's to keep people like you out. And I'm warning you, Miss Peacock, whatever you call
My name's not
yourself.
Peacock.
Whatever, parakeet.
Albatross. You know my name.
Look, I don't care what your name is. You don't belong here, so get out. And
Why are you so threatened by me?
Albatross, let's go.
At the mall, I'm the law, y'all. On call, bring the ball, all macho manning up against the wall, panning, raw. Standing all tall, applause really sincerely, really all because I am the law, y'all cheering. Security. Y'all bringing out the tears in me. Are y'all hearing me? To me, it's clear, it appears here in me, there always is this fear, leering at me. I can see someday, some guy, some way is gonna pry. Unaware they're gonna stare somewhere this pair of eyes. It'll be fast, it won't last. They'll just pass by, looking for the lies in my eyes. Spy, try. I ain't buying that crap, Jack, you got to keep it moving. See, that's how I be moving. That's what I be doing. When trouble be brewing and stewing, folks be oohing and ah. Proving I be doing my job, I kick them out. I shout and leave. They can be peeved, proud if they please, if they want, if they desire. And I ain't no liar. I was just tired of trying. I was dying. It was time that I climbed higher. My situation was dire. I had dreams and things. I was tired of routine street scenes, canned beats and beans, being unseen, no green, winging in between your feet. I was beat with no means, no home, no heat. Which sure brings the cold, sure brings the walls, which sure brings the... Go back to the end of the line, pay your dues. In my mind, I refuse to go back to a time that was so black, so whack, and I was so whacked with the lack of self-esteem. But no one's known this. So this homeless thing was just a bad dream. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad I wiped that bad thing clean from my mind.
So that's Dennis. Dennis is, just to kind of give you just a small little snapshot of Dennis. Again, he used to be homeless, but Dennis is ashamed of his past and he tries to repress it any way he can. In that scene, in the mall, he came to two of his worlds collided. His past collided with his present. And the way he deals with his past is he takes it out on people in the mall, the homeless people he sees in the mall. That's his way of getting rid of his frustration. I wrote that scene and performed that scene in 5 chunks. The first chunk, he was flexing his muscles with his facade. That's the, I'm at the mall, I'm the law, y'all. And then he goes into, he reveals a little bit of his shame in the next chunk when he talks about, are y'all hearing me? To me, it's clear there is this fear in me. The third chunk, he says, I ain't buying that crap. So he sees some more people in the mall and he kind of chases them away. He's back there at the side. He gets to feel good about himself. In the fourth chunk, he just unlooses all, he just lets go of all that stuff that's been building up for him. That's when he says, I ain't no liar. I'm just tired of trying. And he lets everything go. And then the fifth chunk is that final chunk when he sees that another homeless person in the mall. And he says, you in the jeans holding the sign, looking for green and looking for some time. So he's back to his facade. So that whole scene is a struggle with him going back and forth between his facade and his inner feelings. And the last coat he wears is that facade, because in life, that's the one he's chosen to wear. And it's kind of sad, but that struggle, that inner struggle between his past and his present is captured in that scene in the mall. So that's what I try to try to grab a hold of when I did the Dennis character.
I want to thank you for that, Corey. You know what? I think I'm calling Broadway and telling them, get your Tony, shine your Tony up, buddy. That was a heck of a performance, man.
Thank you, Roberto.
Very
Appreciate
strong,
you, brother.
very strong. I just wanted to let everybody know this, you know, we do this to bring to light issues that are happening with homeless, with social injustice, with everything. We'd like you to share, comment, like, love, do whatever you can. Tell us what you think so we know we're doing our job. And usually at the end of a Zamia workshop or anything, we all go do a one-word go around. Just what you're taking away from this broadcast, this stream. So I'm just going to hand it out. Go ahead, Martin. Why don't you start us out, please?
Practice.
Remembrance.
Teamwork.
Joyfulness.
Melting.
All right. And then usually at the end, I think, what was your word again? I'm sorry, Esther.
Melting.
Melting. I think we're going to go with practice. And what we do is we're all going to stick our hands in towards your camera, and we're going to go. Practice! Thank you for coming. We'll be here next week. It's been a Zamia presentation. Thank you.
This week's achievement is notice my breathing.
Yep. Keep going. Marn, could she just like record it and send it to somebody? Because if she, you know, I don't know if that'd be easier to record it.